Well, hello everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class that has to do with one of my favorite products ever, paper pumpkin kits. And so we're going to dive in and do a few alternate projects with them. Let's say hello to Trisha Joseph. She's my moderator, so if you see her name come up in the live chat, she has the little wrench symbol next to her name. You're just going to start, if you want to tag her and ask her questions, you just start with the A with the circle around it, and then you start typing her name, Tricia Josephs. Trisha Josephs will come up. You can just click on it, and then you can ask her questions. And there she is, commenting away. She's so helpful. A big welcome to any of you who are new to my channel and viewing for the first time. How fun. Sometimes it's your first live, even if you've watched replays at other times. So chime in if this is your first live with me. And then if you've been around for a while, say hello. We would love to hear from everybody in the live chat at least once. It's so fun to hear and read, I should say, what you want to share, and helpful tips, things like that. It's just great to see all the live chats. If you don't know how to do the live chat, it might be that you're viewing this without logging into your Google or YouTube account. So just make sure that you're doing that. And then I would love to invite you to subscribe to my channel. So if you like what you see today, you love the ideas, that sort of thing, please subscribe to my channel and then click on the bell so you can adjust your notifications. That way you can get notifications for when I'm going live. You can also become what's called a member of my channel. We have fan members and we have supporter members. The supporter member is a higher tier and they get an extra bonus video at the end of each month. All right, so let's look at the kit. I forgot to do something though on my computer here. So I'm just gonna click save and then we're gonna move along. Okay, so dive down to the desktop. This is the July Paper Pumpkin Kit, July 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit, and it is called Sweeter With You. You can see that there are 4 different style cards. You can make 2 of each of those cards using the instructions that come with the kit. You have all the supplies. You just need like a little mini scissors. By the way, the paper snips is no longer available. We had our manufacturer of the paper snips had to stop manufacturing it, so you may not even notice it in the online store anymore. But just know that I'm still listing it because it is hello, scissors are like the #1 paper crafting tool, right? Well, besides paper. And so I'm listing it even though you can't click on it and purchase it anymore. Just know that you'll need a scissors. But yes, wonderful instructions. They're visual, so you don't even have to read English in order to follow along and create the cards. And then on the back, you can see images of the supplies that come in the kit. These are all the consumable supplies, plus the stamp set, plus the ink. Now, if you are not a subscriber and you fall in love with this kit after watching this video, what you can do, because we have it in the online store right now, is you can become an active subscriber using my link in the video description. And then once you're an active subscriber, you can purchase the refill kit. You won't get the stamp images like the sentiments and all of that and the ink, but we do sell the ink in a larger size ink pad, which is what I'm going to be using during the demonstration. And then you can always use other stamps, different words, that sort of thing. Also, as far as using other things, I do like to use additional adhesives. You do get adhesive for making the cards as intended, but because I make alternates and I like to go beyond, I bring in extra dimensionals, I bring in my regular glue dots, I have tear and tape adhesive here, and then my seal adhesive, multi-purpose liquid glue. So you're going to see different adhesives come in as well. If you would like to see Stampin' Up! Demonstrate how to make the cards as shown, you can scan that and it will take you to that instruction. Okay, so like I said, stamps and ink, adhesives. These are the images that go with the stamps. I'm just going to set that over here. You get all the consumables. You get the envelopes that you would need. I have do you guys see the little, there's like a little fly flying around in the room here. Wants to be in the video. Kind of like some people's cats. In fact, my cat used to do that. Here are more adhesives. card bases, all the layers that you need. Fun, fun, fun. Oh, I forgot to mention, because it's so like regular for me now, I am wearing my pink hair because we have pinks in this kit. And I am a huge, huge fan of strawberries. So to me, this kit is like a winner. I love it just because it has berries, but I think it's super cute. So if you have not been, see, these are all like the little punch out pieces that you need and all that. If you have not fallen in love with this kit once you got it, I hope that the ideas that I share will intrigue you and make you try to create with it and fall in love with it. Okay, so a big hello to you. This is so fun. I love that you're sharing where you're from. I love it. I love seeing like all the different cities and states, and then of course different countries. That's always cool too. Some of you even stay up late or wake up early. I love it. Okay, so let's start with the card, shall we? I think I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here though, because I'm holding things up really high. You know, you'll notice that I'm sitting down too. I just had surgery on my foot on the 11th of July, and so I'm in a boot and I'm not standing. The last video I did, which was on Saturday, I was sitting as well. So forgive me for a different kind of angle, but hopefully you can see and still read my lips. My mouth might be tilted a little further down if you are hearing impaired and you are a lip reader. So I'm sorry about that, but my foot really is not in the best shape right now. And it's actually, I mean, it's usually not bad, but today it's a little sore. Okay, let's start with, oh, here's all my supplies. Did you notice I was stalling? I'm like, where did I put those? I already set some things aside knowing that I was going to work with them. Okay, so for the first card, we're going to work with these pieces. This green base. Oh my gosh, Rachel, you're folding it the wrong way. No, I want it this way. This green base. And then we're going to use a bunch of strawberries and a couple of these long, narrow, now you could call them wide and narrow, little label pieces, but we're going to put those on vertically. This is my fun dauber case that I got from the Country Hive. You'll want one. I'm going to go ahead and grab, oh, I don't need daubers yet. Hang on. Okay, anything extra that I bring in that's not Stampin' Up is either listed in the video description under where you can find them in my favorite extras, or you can go directly to the link. And then Stampin' Up products are linked below too. So hopefully everything that I share, you'll be able to find. Okay. All right. Yay for Northern Nevada. Yay for Perry, Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. It's so fun. I love seeing your comments, you guys. This is great. Okay, so we're going to bring in a Lemon Lolly blending brush. You don't need to have a blending brush for every color, but I do because I love to. I also label mine with the little labeler that you can find in the online, my extras, in my favorite extras. I didn't list that, but I do have a labeler that I love. Okay, so we're going to take and remove some of the intent. Well, no, we don't need to because we're going to cover this up. We're going to have this here. So I'm going to start in the middle and just kind of like move my way out and do a little bit of intense, because I want the color to be nice and bright. Oh, good. You can see it. Nice bright yellow, like a sunshine, okay? And we're just going to bring a little bit of sunshine onto the front base of this card. And again, I'm going directly onto the paper because I know that if this is too intense, I'm going to cover up portions of it. So I don't have to really worry about that too much. And you can go right up to the edge. So how is everybody today? I hope you are well. And if you are recovering from a surgery, shout it out. Let us know so we can put you in our thoughts and prayers, because you guys all send me thoughts and prayers and I'd love to be able to reciprocate. So I appreciate all of the love. Let us know how you're doing. Okay, and I'm going to turn this around and just do a little bit of sunshine in this direction. Again, just adding some sunshine to the card. Okay, so I think we have enough. I'm just going to check. Oh yeah, just a little yellow glow behind that. That's all I wanted. So we'll close that up. We might come back to that later, so I'll set it over here with that. And then we're going to work on one of these, with a little bit of red and white baker's twine. So the color that's in the kit is Poppy Parade Red, which is a brighter, kind of warmer red. Excuse me. But we're going to use red, real red, I should say, which I hope that's okay because it's so, like, there's such a small amount that you really don't even notice it. Notice the difference, I should say. You notice the red, but you don't notice that it's not Poppy Parade. So I've taken and just kind of, you know what, I should measure it so I don't have to measure it using the loop-de-loop because we're going to do it on the opposite side too. So this piece measures, we'll just use our grid paper. The grid paper comes with measurements along the edges. This is about 6.5 inches. Okay, so we'll wind that back up. Red, real red and white baker's twine. So I'm going to start from the front, and I'm going to kind of, actually I'm not starting from the front. I'm starting from, well, yeah, I'm starting from the front, but I'm kind of starting with my left piece right around there, the third notch down, and I'm going to tape that behind, but I'm going to the other third notch across the top, and then I'm going to come to the fourth notch right down here, go back to the third one, and then we can take and tape it. I probably could have used 6 inches instead of 6.5. This is tear and tape adhesive. Just trying to see if I could tear it with one hand. That was a little difficult. So I'll take one and start it. Okay, so we've got a little bit off to the left, under my finger, under my thumb. Then I'm going third notch, then I'm going third notch again up on the top, but fourth notch along the side. And then we'll keep it nice and tight and we'll tape it down. And we're not going to remove that adhesive backing on the tear and tape adhesive. We're just going to leave it right there. Now we're going to grab some dimensionals, and I am running out of dimensionals, so I'm going to grab another sheet out of my pack. When you buy dimensionals, you can get the mini dimensionals. I like to invest in the regular kind because I can always trim them, but it's nice to have the mini ones on hand. But so you can see I'm like running out here. So we've got our dimensionals, and I'm going to take and put one in each corner. Oh, not yet. I want to stamp first. Hold on. I'm going to stamp next. So I'm going to bring out my Granny Apple Green ink pad, which is the same color as the ink spot that you get in the kit. And we are going to open it up, grab the thank you, ink that up. I'm checking where my dimensional is. It's not in the middle, so we're good. We're going to center that and stamp it down. And that's centered enough. Shh, don't tell anyone it's a little low. And then we're going to grab some more dimensionals. Here they are. Put them on the back side. And then we're going to set this aside because I'm going to deal with that later. In fact, I'm going to put a dimensional here just so that that little backing part stays in place. We're going to set this aside, and we're going to start with our strawberries now. So with our strawberries, we're going to take a bone folder, and we're just going to curl the left edge of the leaf. So you have leaves on the right over here and leaves on the left, and we're going to curl just the left edge of that one. We're going to set the pink one and that one aside. Left edge of this one, left edge of this one. Okay, so we're doing that with 5. I think I have 5 here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to start building them onto the card edge. So this is a fun technique that you can do with lots of images like flowers and, you know, butterflies or whatever, just something to just kind of accent the edge of your card. So we'll just take and put that down like, I think I put it there. Let me check it. Yeah, that looks good. I think I'm going to move it over just a tad though. Okay, and then we'll do another one. We'll just put adhesive on the back side of all of these. So I'm just putting seal adhesive, which will hold it in place. But if you want to, you can get a little more detail and sponge with glue, or you can put even more adhesive on the back side. And I think I'm going to add this one next. I'm looking at my finished one which you can't see yet. Let's see here. I'm going to bring this over here too, just as a guide. We're going to add that one right here, like that. Sorry, still positioning something over here. Okay, and then this one, I think we'll have go on like this. This is kind of in the middle. And this one, so I'm building from top to bottom, as you can see. I'm just kind of angling them just for a fun little whimsical edge. Okay? Fruity edge. It's a fruity edge. We'll grab our scissors that is not our one that we use for paper or for ribbon. This is the one that I use for paper. I have 2 scissors and I mark the one that I use for ribbon with a little thing of ribbon. And then the one that I use for paper, I just have a little charm on. Just basically so that I remember to not use my really sharp ribbon one with paper, because paper dulls your scissors over time. And then you find that you're like having to buy a bunch of scissors all the time to make them nice and sharp for your ribbon. So if you do that, you're gonna always have a sharp ribbon scissors. So I'm just going along and I'm cutting about 1/16 of an inch from all of the edges of the right side of the strawberries. That will give us a little bit of green on the inside, which is why I folded the card inside out, which some of you would say is inside out, but it doesn't really matter. It's a folded card. And now we see a little bit of that green along here. You could do some spattering of ink. You can do, you know, some kind of gold little flecks along here if you want to. I'm just going to keep as is. I try to keep my cards fairly simple, but we do have that lift. And I love the little lift of the greenery on the strawberries because it makes them look more realistic that way. And then we pair that with the lift of the thank you. So let's take and pull off the backings. And the backings of the dimensionals, I should say. Make sure they're all sticky. Yep. And then we're going to just add that right here. So it looks like there's the same amount of edging, top, left, and side. And then we're going to bring in an embellishment because embellishments are always fun. This kit didn't come with any embellishments. I thought it should have had some little red gems, but it didn't. So we're going to use the antique pearls and our take your pick tool, because that's always a great tool for connecting embellishments onto your cards. We'll use a medium size one, a small, and then a large one. They come in 3 sizes on this one. I love it. And we'll just put those there just for a little bit of added glitz and glow. And then on the inside, we will add, here it is, a panel to write on, because we need to, of course, write on the inside of our card. And this is a very dark interior. So we're going to do the same thing where we're giving it that same amount of border on the inside. We're not sticking adhesive all the way to the edges. I try not to do that just in case I want to tuck something. So, and for these, you could do a little bit of bone folding on the foliage too. But then what happens is it's going to get flattened out when you mail it because, well, it's going to get flattened out when you mail it anyway. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just add a little bit of curl there for fun. And we will tuck this one under like so. A pink strawberry. That one is not ripe, you guys. It might not taste the sweetest. And then we'll do the same thing with this and add that one. And I think I have that one on top. It's peeking. Oh, and you want to check to make sure that that pink one isn't going to be sticking out of this edge here. But that is the finished card. One of them. That is one finished card. Speed stamping today, you guys. This is what happens when we do kits, right? So we have the outside and the inside. Just a fun idea if you want to change things up. And hopefully you got some ideas for using future products. We'll set those cards aside. Let's bring in a finished card. This card here, I'm not going to go through step by step, but I want to point out some things on it. First of all, it is a card that we created, a card style that we created on Saturday. This is a fun fold that I introduced for the first time. I'm so excited about it. a little fun fold card that actually stands on its own. And I call it the museum gallery fold because it's like you're in a museum and these are the barriers. You can't walk up to the actual artwork that's back here. But the barriers help to stand up your card. And you can, of course, adjust it. And there's little folds in the middle to make them stand up great. Now, it folds in this direction. And it lies flat and it goes into an envelope. So where are our envelopes? Kit envelope, here it is. So you can take and add that into an envelope. And it will fit in there and you can fold it up and you can mail it away. Okay? So, little tips. This little strip here is only adhered to that section because this little thing, you want it to be able to fold. So I always adhere it to this section and try not to get any glue on here or here. You can put embellishments or other doodads on those sections, but if you're going to have a main little sentiment, you don't want it to stay curved when you open up the card. You want it to kind of flatten out. Panels that match look great on the two outer parts so that it focuses in on the interior of the card. Measurements, by the way, can be found on my Saturday blog post. So let's go to the video or to the computer really quickly so I can show you how to get there. Incognito window. Here we go. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to stampyourartout.com. And when you're here, you can scroll down and here it is. It's the last post. So it's going to be right here. You just click on that. If you've waited a while and you just saw this video like months later, I'll show you another area where you can go. But here are measurements. Here's a how-to video for creating it. It has tips and all that. But you can go to the About Me and then go to My Project Library and you have imagery here of all of these cards that I've done. Cards, pages, projects, you name it. All the things that I've done throughout the past several years can be found in My Project Library. Okay, back to the desktop. So that's how you find that. I'm going to pull that away so I'm not looking at that on my computer anymore. Okay, so in the middle is where you put your main image that has maybe another sentiment. So you've got the You're the Best, Life is Sweeter with You. Where do you sign this card? You can sign it, if you flatten that front part back, you can sign it along here if it's nice and flat and you didn't emboss it. Or you could sign it on the back side. There's lots of room on the back side to write a super long novel. The berries and the basket obviously are from the kit. The grass is actually from the kit too. That's that green card base that we just used, only cut into super tiny little piece. And then there are the panels from another card base here. Who was it that said that? Debbie says there are white strawberries too. I'm sure there are. I have not eaten them, but the pink ones, at least in our area, are the ones that aren't ripe yet. So are you saying that there are white and pink strawberries that are considered ripe? They must be a variation. I need them because I love berries. Like I have berries every single day. There is not a day that goes by where I don't have berries. This is how much I love them. That's pretty cool. Thank you guys for sharing that there are actually pink strawberries out there. Because at the end, well, anyways, I'm not going to give that away. Okay. So yeah, pink strawberries. Good to know. So they're sitting in this cute little crate. And then I've got the grass back there. This sentiment comes from the kit too. You'll notice that I have two different colors on there. And that's just because instead of doing like creative inking with markers, I'll show you what I did there. I'm sure you can figure it out if you can see really well. You can kind of get a little hint of that. But I did bring in Poppy Parade ink, the ink pad, to use here and here. Garden Green ink. Oh, and these embellishments. These embellishments are perfect for your pink strawberries, your, hang on, your white strawberries, and your red strawberries. So anyways, these are the strawberry slush and pretty in pink gems, and they have just a little touch of gold in them, so they sparkle even more. Not only does the light reflect because they have like kind of a fun surface to them, but they have the gold in them. Okay, so that's what I used for that card. Let's see another one that is similar. I'm gonna put this aside. Now, first I'm gonna show you a card that my friend Lisa Marshall made. She designed this card and then helped me to produce a bunch of them. She made a bunch of them because I can't always make all my cards, but thank you, Lisa Marshall. She did a bunch of these for birthday cards for my team members. So my team members, if you had a June birthday, you may have gotten this. Happy birthday, time to celebrate. Super pretty card. I love the fold on this. So I took her inspiration and I made another version of a paper pumpkin card and that card that you just saw, right? So it combined her card layout with the card that I just designed using the extra strips that would be cut off. So when you make this card here, you're using, and I forgot to give you measurements. Let's do that. Because the measurements on the paneling pieces are different than the ones that you're going to see when you go to that blog post. I'm not going to give you all the measurements, but I'm going to give you the ones that are different. So this panel is 3 1/8 by 5 1/8, and so is this one. This piece here is 2 1/8 by 1. And then the grass piece was cut to 1 3/4 inches tall and then snipped into, okay? 1 3/4 inches by almost, and I think it was 3 3/4. Yep, 3 3/4 inches wide, okay? Because this section here is 3 1/2, 3 1/2, 3 1/2. So this is just under the 3 1/2 inch mark by 1 3/4 inches tall and then snipped into. Okay, let's go back to this one now and let's look at some measurements. So if I took and made 3 1/8 inch pieces for those side strawberry panels, that gave me 1 1/8 left. All right, so I had 1 1/8 inch strips left on that card when I made it. And so I took those strips and I cut them down a little bit shorter, just under 4 1/4. I think they're 4 1/8. And I put them here along these sides. So let's make the base of this with some different product. I do want to tell you that if you're looking in the description of the video, the link to the blog post, because I normally have a blog post that is connected to all my videos, and this one isn't linked yet because I'm working on it. I still want to take photographs of all the finished cards, and I'm going to build a card while we are sitting here. So, all right, so let's take and, oh yeah, that's for the grass. Okay, so this is the color that I used for this card, and it is the Pool Party color. We are not using Pool Party. Put that back there. We're going to use Peach Pie, and I think I have to zoom out just a bit. Okay, so Peach Pie is our base. We're going to cut our cardstock in half at 5 1/2 inches because this is 11 inches. And then we're going to score at 4 1/4. So you start with the same type of base, okay? Same type of base, and then we're going to cut into it. So I'm glad you're loving it. Thanks, Candace. Okay, we're going to cut into it at 1 1/4 inches. And, oh, let's decide what the front is. Let's do that first. So fold it, check your edges. Ooh. They're like lined up perfectly. I could pick either side. But if you have a side that's overlapping one side more than the other, then you want that to be the front, okay? We're just gonna make this the front. So 1 1/4 inches. We're gonna start at the score line. We're gonna press our blade down and we're gonna cut. This is the front. We can do the same thing on this side. There's our 1 1/4 on the other side of our trimmer. Okay, we have, oops, there's the light shining. 1 1/4 inches, because we have some measurements over there. Do the same thing. Start at the measurement in the middle, the score line in the middle, and cut. Next, keep that handy because we're going to need it. We're going to tape this section and this section in place. In fact, it'll help if you put this down, because then this one can go right next to it and connect, and this one can go right next to it and connect. And that way you don't have a gap, okay? You don't want to make this card and then find out that there's this huge gap here, right? Don't get gappy. there's that. Okay, so only this part lifts. These two little edges here stay the same. And I'll embellish that part later. Right now, we're gonna work on some of the middle pieces. So I have a little section of green here from another card, and I'm gonna cut this one to the same height that I had this one, which is 1 1/4. So this is 1 1/4 inches tall. And the width of it, I gotta get some white in here. So we're gonna do a 4 1/8. This is white willow cardstock. 4 1/8 by, and I believe this middle section is 3 inches. Yep, that leaves us with 3 inches. So this is gonna be just under, so 2 7/8. And this should fit right on the front piece here. Yay, it does. Okay, so that's gonna go here, and it's 2 7/8 inches across. So that's what we're gonna make this, 2 7/8 inches across. Do you see this? I forgot to mention that on the last card. That white is different than white willow, which is why you see this different white in here. That's the back side of some green scrap. I forgot to tell you that. Okay, let's go back again to what we're doing here. So let's take and put this stuff aside because those are scraps. Cardstock scrap, paper scrap. And then we are going to need another white one for the inside, but I'll deal with that later. So I'm just going to set that over here for now. Let's grab our basket and our paper snips and the one that works with paper. And then keep in mind that this basket is going to cover up a lot of the grass. So you only need to do the outside pieces. And I think I have a photograph of that I'll share when I post these project ideas on my blog, so that those of you that don't watch the videos, what? You don't watch the videos? But if you don't watch the videos, hopefully that little visual will help you to plan out your project. So you can see we're not, well, we are there. Okay, so there we go. So we needed about 3 blades of grass. We'll do the same thing on the other side. That way you don't have to snip the whole thing, because why? Why do all the work? You certainly can, but why? All right, so blades of grass, just cutting little V's out. That's all I'm doing. Little tiny V shapes. And we will set that over into the garbage pile. Sometimes I throw things on the floor, but I'm trying to be neat and clean. So that'll sit right here, but it's going to go up on dimensionals. Unlike the one that is on this card, this one I have flat because it's the inside. When you fold your card flat, the embellishments that are raised should really only be on the front side so that you don't get little pierce marks or bumps or things like that on the inside of your card. So because we want to raise this up on dimensionals, we're not going to worry about it quite yet. We're going to add the grass, and you can do that with a glue or with the tape or whatever you want. Let's put this against something dark so you can see. We're just going to line up the corners and stick that down. And then we're going to put this on top without gluing it, and we're going to grab our Sweeter With You stamp. And it has some staining on it because I've used it. So red inks, pink inks, purple inks tend to stain our photopolymer stamps, but they're still usable. We're going to ink this up in garden green, and we're just going to make sure it's clean. It is clean. So we're imagining some things on top here, so we don't want to have it too centered. We want to have it up a little bit higher. I am stamping at an angle. All right, I'm going to bring my head in, you guys. Stamp that. Did you see pink over the top of the camera? Sorry about that if you did. So we have our Life is Sweeter With You, but see the difference? So then what you do is you take and you clean off your stamp. You can clean it off with baby wipes that are non-drying, non-alcoholic, you know, that kind of thing. Or the scrub, which is what I'm using here, the Scrub and Mist, chamois, a damp paper towel or damp washcloth. Okay. Now we're going to ink this up in a different color. So I'm going to take and close up my green, go to my Poppy Parade color ink. This is one of my favorite reds, you guys. And then we'll just use a scrap from the kit. Or actually, no, we can use a scrap of this white. We want the same white, right? So if this is basic, if this is our, not basic white, if this is our white willow, we want a scrap of white willow. And if your scrap is smaller, just make sure that you get the word sweeter in there. And, oh, there you go. We were trying to be neat stampers today, you guys. We cannot stamp if we have dirty hands or the ink will get all over our projects. So let's see if we can clean up Rachel's hands. Are you loving the calendar there, Rosie? Rosie says the calendar is helpful. So I'm guessing that Trisha mentioned, you do have a calendar that's linked in the description of the video too, that leads you to my my lives that I do. Okay, that's not messy. It's just making sure my hands are clean. That's like the worst it's ever been. I don't think I've ever, oh, and I got more on this finger. I don't think I've ever, it's because of my foot. I'm going to blame it on my foot. Yeah, I'm usually not that bad at getting my ink on my fingers. Holy moly, Rachel. Alcohol wipe, but let's just do this. Yeah, I think we're good. Alcohol wipe would probably help, but we're not going to worry about it. We're going to go slower. We're going to push. There we go. Okay, so make sure that red isn't going to come off. Next, you're going to take your paper snips and you're going to cut. Now, the one that I did on the Museum Gallery Fun Fold card, that one I cut super close, like that close. But on the one that I did here, I cut further away. Like it was far enough away where I don't even think I went into all of those little grooves. I just kind of went around because as long as you're not including the life is and the with you, like you could literally even just go like this. Just cut those out of there. Watch, I'll just show you. So we're going to take the life is out of there. And then look, all you have to do is go like this. Go around, cut, around. See, it still fits. So you don't have to be super detailed, I guess is what I'm saying. But you're going to take and cut out after you've stamped. And then you're going to stick that over the top of the Sweeter With You. For the crate, what you want to do is take and put adhesive on the back. And I just did a little line of dry adhesive, not the glue, but the seal or the tear and tape, which is a little bit stronger. Seal is probably better because then you are able to lift and remove. But you can take and put a bunch of flowers instead of just your strawberries. You could have some flowers that are kind of here in the basket. Let's do one here up front, another one. So now we have to add probably a little bit more adhesive. Another one maybe sticking out here. So you can take and fill up your basket with flowers. And I think if I'm going to do that, because they're white on white, I may want to do like a little splotch of yellow again in the background for sunshine or something. But you'll see another version of this card on my blog when the blog post goes live later on this afternoon. So just give me a few hours and I will post that. So there's that card. Life is sweeter with you. You're the best. Fun, right? Okay, I'm going to set these back here because I'm going to need to work with them more. Next. This next card. Okay, I'm going to show you the finished card and then I'm going to teach you elements of it. So this card here is one of my favorite. Why? Because berries and chocolate. So we have chocolate dipped strawberries on here. And the way that you do that is you grab a scrap. Where are my, here they are. Okay, so you're gonna grab a scrap of early espresso, or if you want a lighter brown, you know, like maybe you want a milk chocolate or something, maybe like, I don't know, would pecan pie be like a caramely kind of dip or something? I'm a big fan of dark chocolate. So you're going to take and put temporary adhesive. I use Herma adhesive for that. I'm just going to put some adhesive right at the bottom portion of my strawberry. And I'm going to lay my cardstock on top, flip it over, and then I'm going to cut, but I'm not going to cut right up to that edge. Because when you dip a strawberry, there's thickness, right? There's a little bit of thickness that happens with that chocolate. It adds a little bit like a blanket. So you can't go right up to the edge. You have to leave a little edge of chocolate. Better down here. There we go. So you can see that. And then we're going to leave that here. We're going to do the other one real quick. Actually, no, we're not, because we're trying to save on time. Okay, so then you take and remove this because it was temporary adhesive. And do you see the shadow that they put on their strawberries? They put it on the left edge here. Now we're going to bring in the daubers. That card goes back there. Okay, we're going to bring in the daubers, and we're going to grab our early espresso color and our early espresso ink, which is the same color as the paper. And we're just going to pounce into the color, and then kind of starting off the edge just to make sure that we're not too intense. You're going to come in and just bring some color onto the left edge of the cardstock, which you can't see very well. Can you see there? It's such a dark color. I'll hold it up. But I'm just coloring the left edge of that, as you can see from my grid paper. Oh yeah, there you can see it. So there's a little shadow, we'll say. So you're going to do that with your 2 strawberries. Then you're going to add, and I was so excited about making this card that when I made the first one, I forgot to actually glue this down. You're going to flip it over, take and add it like this, because that's easiest. And now you have your chocolate drip strawberry. And if you want to, you can take and round out where it meets the strawberry here, right? Because there we go. That looks more realistic. Okay, so now we have our chocolate dip strawberries. I should have done that on those. The background layers are from an envelope. Let's take our envelope next. And, oops, I'm going to put that strawberry away. Okay, our envelope is next, and that is going to be cut. So let's grab our trimmer and our envelope, and we're going to slice right where the flap meets the white. So there's that. And then we're going to cut off the scallops. And to do that, I'm just using my, let's go this way. I'm using my lines here on my trimmer to make sure that this edge is parallel to them and that we are covering up any of the center part here. This is where your cut goes into the trimmer, right in that channel. So I think if I go 1/16 of an inch in, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to hold it. I'm holding this. I'm holding the paper. And I'm slicing. And we have a nice flat edge. Okay, next. We do the bottom and the top. And we're going to line up this corner with the channel of the trimmer and cut. So there's no measuring here. It's just basically making the measurements or making the edges as sharp as possible, as rounded, or not rounded, cornered as possible, 90-degree corners, 90-degree angles. So now we have a rectangular piece. This rectangular piece, we're going to use a black marker with, okay? So for the black marker, you have 2, this is the Stampin' Right marker, you have 2 tips. You have the brush end, and then you have the bullet tip. We're going to use the bullet tip. And you can purchase this one separately. You could also just use any black or dark pen or marker if you're saving and you're trying to invest in other places or make sure you can buy your coffee each day. I'm just being silly. But see, it's called faux stitching. You make those little dash marks all the way around and you get what looks like sewing. So that's how you get that. Put the cap on. We'll finish that later. And then for the Hello Friend, do you see how that's stamped in this outline, this white outline? That is actually from the kit. The kit has these pieces that look like this, and it's made to go with that stamp. So you just hover over the top, stamp it down, and you have this really nice little bubble going around the outside of your Hello Friend. This is also from the kit. You have pink ones and you have blue ones, and then of course you have white ones. So I stamped that one, not with the garden green ink that comes with the kit, but with the early espresso ink, so that I had a darker tone here. So that's how I got that. Chocolate strawberries are on there with dimensionals. And then these guys look like a new embellishment, but they're not. They are, gosh, I love this kit. They are these again. And to get them, I took my other kind of marker. These are our Stampin' Blends markers. And I took and colored the color on. So you want to use the blends markers because it's a different kind of ink. And then you can get any color you want with those vanilla embellishments. You can just color them with the blends markers. So that's how I got the green color. Used Granny Apple Green Dark, by the way. Okay, what else do I want to point on here? Oh, the background. Did you see the white background? It has speckles on it. The background and the paper come from the rest of the envelope. So we're going to cut this, and we're going to cut about 3/8 of an inch off here. And then we're going to cut this to 5 3/8. Oops. Oh, silly me. Okay. Okay, never mind. I know what I was doing. That other measurement, the 3/8 that I just gave you, ignore it. Okay, we have to cut this edge off to open it up. That's what I meant to do. And then we're going to cut that to 5 3/8. But look at that. Oh, that was close. Okay, so we have our 5 3/8 inch tall. Now we're going to cut this just outside the score line. If you have a really, really dull blade and you haven't changed it yet, you're going to get on thinner paper. The thinner the paper, the more you're going to have that chance of having a little bit of like flecks coming off and stuff like that. So just use a sharp blade, especially if you're going to cut through an actual scored area. We'll set that aside. We're going to flip this around. We're going to cut this one to 4 1/8. Okay, so now we have the front layer of our card. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then the middle layer of the card, that's where we were going to cut our 3/8 of an inch. But now we just are going to trim. So we're trimming. We're trimming. And we're going to cut this to 4 1/2. So yeah, just cut it to 4 1/2. Cut off that rough and scored edge, and then cut in the other direction at 3 1/4. And now you have just an inch under in each direction of your normal card base. So 3 1/4 instead of 4 1/4, and 4 1/2 instead of 5 1/2. Okay, that's the inside layer. We have our two papers. We're going to take our scraps and throw them away because we have a lot of them. And we're going to put these onto our grid paper, kind of have some space around it, bring back our Granny Apple Green marker, bring in Wink of Stella, and bring in our bone folder tool. Open up the cap on the brush end of our marker and start tapping. And you're going to get little splatters of green ink onto your paper. And then close the cap. Open this cap, do the same thing. Little splatters of Wink of Stella, which is like a little sparkly gold. So we've just now given our paper some wow. And hopefully if I tip it in the light, can you see any glitzy, oh, now you can see it there. So there's our little splatters of Wink of Stella. You set that aside, let that dry a little bit, and then you build up your cards. So you put the white layer on first, then your stitched little plaid layer here. Then you, of course, can put your Hello Friends, Love You Lots up on dimensionals. your strawberries up on dimensionals, your embellishments, and then your panel on the inside of the card. And this is just a half of a cardstock, half of a piece of cardstock folded in half. Next card. This one's an unfinished one. All right, so, and I'm gonna have to finish it later, but I just couldn't do it yesterday. I was so tired. But I do want to show you, oh, let me show you this first. So our basic white envelopes are the same size. So if you decide to cut up your envelopes for cards like I just did, you can always invest in more envelopes. They are listed in the products in the video description. Okay, so for this last card, I'm going to bring in some more pieces from the kit. So I didn't know. I didn't know that there were white and pink strawberries that were ripe out there. And I do know that in Minnesota, the ones I've eaten, I'm going to put this away. The ones I have eaten, we have to wait for them to be reddish, right? Okay, so I'm going to put this back into my early espresso spot, grab my Poppy Parade. This is my labeler too. I love it. I love that labeler. Okay, Poppy Parade. Because I didn't want to use this as a pink one,